Alright, I'm over this side now, in the rear quarter. I have this panel as well. Spot welds are all broken. This is just screwed in here. Spot welds are broken. And this is still, right here is still connected. So I'm going to cut right here. I think I just want to get out this notch here, because this is the only hole. That's the, you're looking at there is the whole inner fender well. And you need that in good shape. So I might have to do a little patch there, but I just want to get an exploratory mark there. Looks pretty good behind there too. For some reason the passenger side is in good shape too. But I just feel like doing some cutting. I'll get that out of there. Now you see what happens is the rust, the sand and the water come up underneath and get this seam right out. Probably came through here first, then it sits on the seam. What do you think of that? Or does it get into the seam? I have to go a little further that way. We'll see. That might just clean up the rust converter. But now this is all loose. There's probably a spot weld still here, which is good. This is some thick metal. This is thicker than those panels I got, huh? I think. That's why you don't want to use the whole patch panel. You use as little as you need. That, and because it's blurry, is it just my eyes? Then you get into, when you're welding it, distortion with heat. So if you can get like, so you go right below that line, because that's a really solid place to weld. Not on the line, because then you're going to mess with that seam. You know, if you do below where it's got some strength, or just above it, I'll probably be down here. I'm shinking. And I know there's a bad patch here. I think I had fiberglass filler. I think this right here is, yeah, this here's a crack. I think the panel, I marked the panel, goes all the way to here. And it does, it goes all the way up. But I think I'm just going to be doing a patch. Maybe come right across. Maybe do the whole thing. Whole thing, but real low. We'll see. Alright, some exploratory work complete. It's pretty dang pitted in there, but cut that out. Still a spot weld here, and that's just full of crud. I don't know if I'll go back. Maybe I'll go back further and replace that. And that was the old exploratory. Solid behind there is good. Went over here because this was a more filler, but it feels fine. The only thing that's odd is right here. I don't know if it was welded or something going on. This spot weld under here is broken away. And this screw is the only thing. Sorry, this screw is the only thing holding this bed from flopping. So I would be wise if I came. I think this is the mark of the panel. The panel does come way over here. Give it some structural integrity if I did come down. I don't want to go that high. I don't need to go that high. So maybe over, and then maybe to here even. That way I can clean out that spot weld, and behind here, rust preventative shit. And I know what else just dawned on me. Either I forgot is this bed is not the original, because there's no red paint. This is black filler primer, some sort of order all over this. I haven't found any red paint. I don't know why. Did I forget that? I don't know. It just never dawned on me. So maybe this bed has been replaced at one point. But yeah, it's all red to some. Maybe it was white. I don't know, but then there's red up here. So maybe this panel was replaced? It's red now because it's red up here. Maybe this had a patch panel already. Interesting. But would it rot out again that quick? What do you think? What do you think, America and Europe? Whoever's watching this. All right, everybody, I'm back, and I'm gonna take a little gander at this rear quarter. In my last video, I was saying this was I was finding white paint. Well, I forgot this was a two-tone truck from the factory. So yes, it was white from here down. I think here down. I think that's where they do the line. That's why I'm seeing red up on top. And I'm assuming in this area there's probably red too. So that answers that question. Original bed, but two-tone white and carmine red. But I picked up this little multi-tool, Chicago Harbor Freight Matic, super duper. But these are cool. I needed it for another project anyway. They're good for punching drywall, home stuff. But this is like it just vibrates. So that's how it cuts. I did this little section right here. Just kind of cut that out. That was all rust. That's the inner fender. But that's what I was thinking. Oh, maybe I can use it for that. It kind of jumps around, so I wouldn't use it, I don't think. Maybe with a little practice, you could do the actual cuts with it. They do have a half moon. I bought the half moon cutter. That might help in that situation. Because it would be like a circle you're punching in, half circle. So that might be good for that. Now you see what happens is the rust, the sand and the water come up underneath and get this seam right out. Actually, it probably came through here first, then it sits on the seam. What do you think of that? Or does it get into the seam? I have to go a little further that way. We'll see. That might just clean up the rust converter. And now this is all loose. There's probably a spot weld still here, which is good. This is some thick metal. This is thicker than those panels I got, huh? I think. That's why you don't want to use the whole patch panel. You use as little as you need. That, and because it's blurry, is it just my eyes? Then you get into, when you're welding it, distortion with heat. So if you can get like, so you go right below that line, because that's a really solid place to weld. Not on the line, because then you're going to mess with that seam. You know, if you do below where it's got some strength, or just above it, I'll probably be down here. I'm shinking. And I know there's a bad patch here. I think I had fiberglass filler. I think this right here is this here's a crack. I think the panel, I marked the panel, goes all the way to here. And it does, it goes all the way up. But I think I'm just going to be doing a patch. Maybe come right across. Maybe do the whole thing. Whole thing, but real low. We'll see. What's up, YouTubes? Guess who's back? It's me and rear quarter. So, the other day, I went and mocked this up. Got it where I want it. Figured out where center was, how much panel I need, and I transferred that to this up in her spot. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this panel first. I think I got it the length where I want it. So we're going to take this sucker over here, get her clamped down, various things. I'm horrible at making straight cuts, so I'll probably clamp this and just follow with the grinder. I want it nice and straight and flush, so that when I go to butt it up in there. Now, if I did this right, this is overlapping the other panel. So if I cut it right on the line, and then when I cut away the other panel, it's going to go up 1/8 of an inch. So it should have a nice fit. That's later on when I cut that, but just so you know, that's my plan. Now I want this to be square. I want a nice square cut. And this, I can't measure off this because this is an arch. It's a slight arch. I'm coming down off the top here. I'm going to get my measurement from the top here down. Make sure it's straight all the way across. And then I want these lines coming down. I'll probably cut on the outside of that marker too. That cut and then overlap the other panel. Bigger is better for now. Alright, I went off of this line just to get a rough idea of where I want to make this cut. I said 5 inches. That way I have plenty of material. At this end, this cut came up higher. 5 inches all the way across, will bring nice and square. Alright, so I transferred that to my ingenious clamping system. Gotta have a lot of C-clamps, folks, deep ones. I'm going down, so 5 inches off of that bend. This is right about there. So actually I'm right about there. That's where the bend starts up here. So yeah, 5 inches across, so nice and square. I measured down off this when it was with the square. Scribed it. I'm going to make that cut across. There's a piece of wood underneath, or I think it's void right there, so I don't have to worry about it. Get that square, and then I'll worry about these, getting these square. I'll have a nice panel over there. Now see the line, the scribe line, I cut below it. Why would I cut below it, Mike? Why? Should have cut above it. Idiot. So over here, I'm leaving a 1/16 of an inch for the blade. I'll show you the blade to be easier. There, that way I will be on the line. Duh. We all have our strong suits, our strong attributes. Mine is not measuring and cutting. Look at how little I left. Barely. Like I'm gonna put it right on that red line. And it's like, I guess it's good because I'm just shaving off a little bit of what was left. And then over here, same thing, like barely on the edge. Oh my God, I'm the worst. And that's our panel. Gotta get that, now theory, correct me if I'm wrong, if I clamp this in place, because it's an 1/8 inch lower right here, I should be able to cut along this seam, which, use that as my guide, and then when I cut pieces out, it's gonna slide up in there and be a nice, perfect, no gap, right? And that's if I don't fuck up these ends either. Like, if I cut on that, it's going to be too short. So I got to come over. I got to clean. Basically, if I just clean up that edge, let's think about this. If I scribe it, I got to scribe it and cut on the inside. Same with over here. Scribe it and cut on the inside of that line, not the outside, and not on the line. Michael, Jesus. Alright, here goes nothing. Got my nice guide up there again. I dropped it. I'm gonna cut it right. I might drop it a little bit. Just go below that line. I do not want to be too, I'd rather cut some after. Only because I know myself, I want to be cutting. Yeah, look at that. That's right on that line, so. Alright. Okay, I got this fitting pretty good. Getting her down to size. Got a little trimming to do. Before I go any further though, I need to put a screw back in here. And I don't know if you can see this. This is all cracked. I'm gonna do a weld here so this stays in place. Otherwise, none of this is going to fit right. And then, yeah, before I weld that in, obviously I got to patch this. Could patch it from behind, but it's going to be a pain in the ass, so we'll see. Well, we are blowing through, so I think I'm going to make a little Dremel, just make a little patch right here. That is really close to the edge here, folks. There was something else going on here. I wonder if it was cracked. This looks like it was welded before. Maybe there was a crack here. But this is, yeah, this is paper thin. Maybe I can get a little sliver in there, some scrap metal. I think I'm better at little patchworks. Alright, tuck that up in there, clamp it, weld it, cut it. Okay, we're getting there. Ground that down. Tiny little pinholes I guess I gotta dress. I'd like to get some weld on the back of this. Maybe I'll take this wheel off. I need to get in there. I just ground down my perimeter. I think I misspoke a few. Forgot this was white stripe. I said this might have been a new bed. No, I just forgot that this is white paint under here because this is white and red on top. Just remembered that. Anyone else did? All thousands of you. Alright, get that little, keep filling in little pinholes here and there. That's pretty good. Trim that away. There's a dent come out here. So pounded that in a little bit. I think I have to go more. I don't want it to push out this new panel. Need a little patch for there. This needs to be cleaned up. And that's it for today. Happy Easter, everybody. Or Passover. You know, whatever your faith is. Whatever mythical creature you believe on. Well, not mythical creatures. Come on, Mike. That's just mean. Back on the old quarter panel. I'll show you what I did here. I took the wheel off so I can get my big melon in here. Never mind the police helicopter. This is California after all. But, first off, you can see my, just even a little tack weld, the penetration goes right through. This stuff's so thin, so that's good to know. But I wanted to get in here because of the seam. I gotta, look at that. You gotta seam seal that shit. That is, yeah, that's the piece that I'm not replacing, obviously, right there. So I could pinch that, give that a good weld too. But yeah, we're gonna seam seal all this. I want to get in here with my wire wheel and clean off. I just don't want any more sitting and resting. Same over here. I don't know if you can see because I'm not looking at the lens, but so yeah, that's my plan. Get that cleaned up, grind that down, and then get my patch put in. Trimming away. Got her in there. I gotta get that up a little bit. Gap here. But I think my high spot is right here. I want to get rid of. I'm trying to make this as tight as possible. So gap here, tight here. So I'm going to take out this little section, maybe over here. Sides are good. And then that'll bring this up flush. Just taking my time. I'm tired of having these giant gaps trying to weld. I like them apples, huh? That's coming down a little bit, but it's just my weak magnet. That'll come up, tack. Might be a little high spot there. And this will come up with the magnet too. Tried clamping it, it just doesn't stay. Yeah, sweet. But before we go and do all that, we are going to drop it on the ground and prep all this metal back here. Some of my famous non-sponsored core seal. Actually, I have that spray Rust-Oleum stuff. Let me try that again because it has better reviews online, but I used it in the cab and it just sprayed clear. It didn't seem like it was doing anything. Let's try it out if I can find it. Alright, I lied. It is the Loctite Extend Rust Neutralizer. I'm going to try it on the bed because it said it had to be rust in place, like a 50 grit. And I already had that sanded smoother, so I don't want to do it there. because that's gonna be a tight seam spot. So this I scuffed up, good shake, 8 to 10 inches away, and the aerosol is dead because it's been on my shelf for more than 2 days. Let's go try and clean that nozzle. Wire brush. There we go. 2 light coats. That's 1 heavy coat for me. Let's see what that does. It's in the sun. Obviously, should dry a little bit quicker. I don't know. See if it does anything. Alright, it says apply after first coat turns black. I wouldn't say that's not black. That's just, it did put like a clear coat on there, right? It also says do not paint, wipe off dirt, did all that. The product may cause rust if applied to a non-rusted surface. Oh, that's helpful. Not using direct sunlight. Oh well. Maybe that didn't help our situation. Well, let's do another coat. See if it. I'll put a little shade on it. See if it does anything. Maybe I could show you guys what I'm spraying. It just looks like dirt to me. Put some cardboard over that. Let it have a chance. Yeah, that's gonna spray. Let me get something better. We just made a tent. That's doing its thing. I went and did the core seal. Man, I like this stuff. See, it's converting. It's actually converting that to black. So you know, you can see it doing something. I like that. So I don't know. The other one is. We'll give it a shot. We'll see what happens. I just wanted to be absolute sure because this is a trap moisture area. I'm gonna put seam sealer underneath anyway. And see, this is what happens when you're an East Coast guy. You just rust is like your enemy. Let's see what we got. Well, that's clearly, you can see on the camera, that's a nice shiny spot. To put something on there, call it a paintable surface. I think it's really a thinner coat than. Well, I feel like you could make. Yeah, you gotta paint it. But I think once you scuff it, it's so thin. I don't know, and it just looks like the same. It's just brown with clear coat. Like it didn't convert the rust or anything. It calls it a neutralizer. Maybe chemically it did, but visually it doesn't seem like it. And people swear by this, or good reviews. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's just not as visual as this stuff. So there's my panel. I'm getting ready to weld tack that in there. I don't know. Up to you guys. You know, my non-biased review. How's she looking? How's she looking? She's looking. She's tacked in. I got her nice and flush. And some magnets and pushing and pulling. I think we're good under here too. Let's see, can you see down? See down without a glare? Of course not. It's all sun. I don't know. I think it's good. Just have to fill in those welds. Wow, and this is the only thing left is a cab corner on this truck. After this mess. Sweet. I guess I should say the reason I'm doing no gap whatsoever is because of the flex core welder. This stuff is so thin that it just blows holes. Like there was a little gap there. Right here I have a little gap, and it's starting to. No, it's just not good at filling. Whereas a MIG welder, you need that. Like this gap here, I'm gonna have a little issue. I'm gonna have to build up, fill it in, grind it. I just painted in that line so I could see. That's that body line. Will be pretty good. And then, what else can I tell you? Yeah, just move around your welds because don't get it too hot. A couple here, a couple there, a couple back and forth. You can use. I have the compressed air to cool down the metal. Otherwise, it's going to get warped. But as thick as this metal is, yeah, the flux core just. You you can do it. I'm just doing like, this is just a bzz, bzz, very light tax. That's all you can do. Alright. Alright, did some grinding. Got my welds. I think it's pretty good for me. I'm gonna have to skim coat anyway. I don't know, I'll look at that a little better. Maybe I want to get a better transition there. Because that's a little... That one's good there. Like, I got spots, so maybe I just need to come in here, do a little bit. The only thing I didn't do is I didn't tack weld or do spot welds up underneath the plug welds. I did just hammer the gap up in there. The gap was really big. It was like 1/4 inch. So I just went along and body hammer and dolly flattened it. I'm gonna get seam sealer. I think I'm gonna do some plug welds on it. 1, 2, 3, 4 maybe. And then I'll seam seal from the inside this whole thing. That'd be the right thing to do. But I think I'll just do some small, because it is flux core, maybe 1/8 inch drill bit holes. Just tack those. And then I have behind here that patch I did. I guess I should clean that up. Put some paint on there too. Alright, there we go. Up underneath. Some nice little pluggy welds. Bzz, 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 bzz. And one over here. This was stress. It was a crack. Stress crack here. So I wanted to get another weld here. Because this was flexing. The only thing they have that is rod here. This screw. I patch welded that. So this thing's solid now. So I just need to seam seal from behind, primer, and epoxy coat. Hopefully just an epoxy coat. And we're done. Seam sealed up. Want this shit to last? Take your old gloves. Cut a finger off, tape it on there, both ends. These ends will leak too, these plungers. Air is the enemy of all this crap. That's why it all hardens up and it's never good for more than a goddamn day. Ah. Alright, there she is, all primed up. You can still my heart. You can still see my spot welds there, or welding. But she's smooth. It's gonna get some skim coat anyway. Seam seal behind, prime behind. Put the wheel back on. And cab corner is on that side next. I put some penetrating oil on the bed bolts. My plan, I think, is I'm going to lift the bed, just come back maybe a foot with it, just so I can get into that corner. I don't want to take the whole thing off. But I might do my window seals first for the wing windows. We'll see. Coming in the summer, I got some stuff I want to get done for summer before it gets too hot. Alright, kids and adults, see you later.